Welcome to the Badass Babe Manifest podcast. The vibe here is how to manifest in a simple and fun way, implementing my abundance DNA method without the bullshit, overcomplicated hacks or fluff. I'm your host, Kelly Pender, your spiritual manifestation coach, and together we're going to uncover your unique abundance frequency, step into who the fuck you are unapologetically, and remove the limitation caps as well as playing it small to open yourself the F up to the unlimited abundance, success, and money to easily flow into your life and or business. Let's manifest that shit. Hello, my love. Welcome back to another episode of the Badass Babe Manifest podcast. We have Chelsea Bartell on the pod today, who is a master with complex trauma freedom. And this episode is actually taken directly from an Instagram live that we did together because this is a never before seen two worlds, two experts bridging the gap of complex trauma and manifestation. Because not only through our personal journeys, but with our clients, we see firsthand that in order to have your ultimate manifestations to create your fuck yes life, it's getting your mind, your subconscious mind, which you know, that's what we do here, and your body on board, right? And so we're diving into how we get stuck, quote unquote, in the known and the familiar. Known and familiar feelings in our body, known and familiar feelings from the past, known and familiar emotions from the past that are stored in our body, as well as known and familiar belief systems, identity, how we are showing up, moving, being, operating. That's all known and familiar, keeping us in our comfort zone. So this episode is going to blow your motherfucking mind when it comes to bridging the world of complex trauma and neuroscience manifestation. So I'm really excited for you to dive in, and there's a super special invitation at the end. Make sure you stay and listen to the end. There is something for you that's going to allow you to create a life that aligns with your desires, getting your mind and your body on board. It is the formula and it is the key to your manifestations. I'm so excited, and I'll see you inside.
Here we are. Oh, good. I was just sharing a little bit about how I used to look at manifestation and how it used to be really challenging to only see the mental side of, like, if I just think the right thoughts, if I just affirm the right things, then it's going to happen. Yeah. So, and maybe you can help me understand that a little bit more. What was it like for you before coming into this line of work? Like, before really being able to be like, I've mastered this, I can teach this.
Yes. Oh my God, I love this. Yeah, I heard you talking when I was requesting.
Oh, good. Okay.
Let's fucking dive in. This is going to be great. So for me, it was like, when you're desiring more for yourself, it's like, okay, how do I do that? People around me in my environment, there's a lot of shame around desiring more for yourself and wanting more. So it's like, well, if I don't see people around me in my life who are creating more success, more abundance, just more F yes for themselves, what do I do? Where do I go to? Social media. And so when I was coming into manifestation and just like desiring more in my life, personal life, relationships, business, money, like everything I saw to manifest was just change your thoughts. Just change your thoughts. Be more high vibe. Like, you can't be sad. You can't be, like on the couch with your period. No, keep going, keep hustling. No. Right. So it was all this bullshit of high vibe, just change your thoughts, and say these wealthy woman affirmations and you'll just magically be a millionaire. That was basically it. Oh, and journal until your hand fell off.
Yes. Yes. Same. Yeah. And I think just like you were saying, it induces a lot of shame because you're like, well, what's wrong with me? Why isn't it working for me?
Yes.
How come I'm not seeing XYZ results? And then the people that ultimately are expanders for us, we're like, well, it's working for them. Why isn't it working for me? Must be something wrong with me. And I think that's the perfect place to start to bridge the two is that it's not you, for one. If you're here and you've got that, if you've been there, it's not you. However, it's all of the fun limiting beliefs and all the things that you've experienced in the past that are keeping you from achieving something that to your brain and body seem painful, seems really threatening, right? You know, like for me, I remember when I really wanted to make a big amount of money in my business, and I was working with a coach at the time, and she was like, okay, let's sit down. You imagine that you're sitting in front of your mom and your sister, and you tell them the amount of money that you want to make.
Yes.
And my body seized up. I felt this like my heart got really tight, my chest, like my breathing was really shallow. And she was like, tell me what's going on. And I told her all the symptoms that I started to feel. And she was like, okay, so what does that mean? You know, so, and I think right there, it's important to pull out that it's both a body experience, right? Our body starts to respond to what we think might happen. And then also the mental experience of what I thought was going to happen was I thought my mom and my sister were going to hate me.
Yep.
I thought they were going to envy me.
Yep.
So I was like, no way I'm going to let myself make that amount of money.
Yes. Yeah. It's wild. Whenever we desire more for ourselves, in any capacity, your body doesn't feel safe and your unconscious mind doesn't feel safe. Right? So I want to go into this and do a little explanation as to why. So yeah, let's start with the body. Whenever we desire more for ourselves, and you can share your expertise, which I'm excited to hear about.
Yeah. So I think the best way for me to explain this is by having everybody who's live and then the people who are watching do a little bit of an experiment. Okay, so what I want for you to do is I want for you to just sit up nice and tall. If you're in the position to, if you can't, that's okay. But what I want you to do is I want you to just keep your shoulders squared forward, and I want you to look over each shoulder and just notice where your eyes land. We're not trying to push, right? We're not trying to overexert ourselves. So like kind of bookmark, okay, over this side I can see my light switch, over this side I can see my TV. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And I want you to just go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to think about getting up for work. Just waking up and you look at the clock and you're late. 3 minutes, but 3 minutes is 3 minutes. You start to feel that panic. You start to feel that overwhelm. You start to feel that, oh my God, my boss is going to kill me. Or maybe you work for yourself and you're like, oh my God, I'm late for a meeting. Oh my God, I should have been on the computer like an hour ago. Okay. And then I want you to think about that drive to work. Like if you're working from home, that little walk out to your kitchen and to your desk. And I want you to think about that heat, that intensity that's in your body of like, oh my God, I'm late. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And then you get there and your boss is like, I thought we talked about this. You can't keep doing this. And you're like, I'm sorry, I don't know. I just haven't been sleeping really good recently, and I woke up late and this and all the excuses. And they're like, look, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And you go to your desk and you sit down. Maybe if it's at home, you're late for a client, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. You start to feel that heaviness, start to feel that weight in your body. You get through the day, your boss doesn't really talk to you, they're pretty cold with you. And you go out to your car, and again, if you work from home, maybe this isn't happening, but if you're working in an office, you go out to your car and you see that there's a parking ticket, $250. You're like, fuck, this day sucks. Man, this has been hard. You get in your car, you drive home, and you just slump down on the couch and you go, wow, this day really sucked. It's really uncomfortable. Okay. And now what I want you to do, just go ahead and let your body slowly come back. Maybe wiggling your fingers, your toes. And before we take inventory of what that feels like, I want for you to test again, looking over your shoulder, and notice if you got more rigid and less mobility. So look over your shoulder and see, okay, ooh, does it feel about the same? A little bit more rigid? Was it a little bit more rigid for
Yeah,
you? Yeah.
very much so. More like,
Mhm. Yeah, like it felt like there's like a lot of effort to like, oh, why is it stressed out? Yeah, exactly. So even though this was just an imagined scenario, even though you just closed your eyes, even though you were just thinking about it, your body is still responding as though it's happening right now,
yeah.
right? You were able to come back to this moment and go, oh, shit, I'm at my desk. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm not there. But your body still responded. And our bodies will stay in this response until it has other proof that it doesn't need to be there. And a lot of times, affirming or just thinking the right thoughts is not going to help your body calm down, right? We need to start to speak the body's language. So, this is a lot of times what's getting in the way of manifestation is that our body is still in a position of surviving, of threat, or this is unpredictable, or that's unfamiliar. So when we go to manifest, it feels clumsy. It doesn't feel good. It feels uncomfortable, or we put pressure on it because we're like, that thing is going to save me from this pain I'm feeling right now. And then what that does is that just pushes that away further. And then we're like, okay, I'm broken. I can't manifest. It's
Yeah.
not me. It's not for me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true. And how many of us stay there and like identify as that feeling in our bodies?
Exactly. Yeah. I love Joe Dispenza, but I love one of his quotes is that um and I'm gonna butcher it, I know it, but he talks about a temperament over time becoming a mood, and then a mood over time becoming a personality, and then we just believe that that's our personal reality, and we just continue to affirm it over and over again.
Yeah. Yep. It's so interesting that we have an experience and like our bodies, right, don't know the difference between an imagined experience that brings on an emotion or like an actual in our reality emotional experience, right? So how you just walked us through that, imagining that, what happened? We had that emotional chemical reaction where it was like, and I love that you had us look over our shoulder because for me, I'm like, ew, I don't feel as expansive. I feel like tight and rigid and I can't. Why? Because your body's responding to, and these are scenarios that we create in our heads because a lot of us create the worst case scenario to protect ourselves.
Yes.
Right? Due to fear, because we want to stay in the known and familiar. And it's like the more that you imagine those worst case scenarios, not only on a subconscious level, but also in your body responds to it and it thinks that it's actually happening. And that's where we get in that this is just how it is for me.
Right.
I suck at manifesting. I'm not meant for more.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we start to believe those limitations. So it's just this vicious cycle that keeps repeating itself.
Yes. I love that. So when we're either imagining this scenario or it's actually happening, what would you say for us as a way to begin to get out of that feeling in our body so that we're not identifying as this is just how it is and I feel like stuck here now?
Yeah. So we want to speak the body's language, right? Even though we just walked through that in a like narrative visual way, we still want to be able to check in with. So say that our body is rigid, right? Or we're preparing for some kind of threat, or we think, oh, it's not going to happen for me. Just know, maybe we don't consciously feel it, but just know that your body is tight. It's responding. Okay. So then what we would want to do is how can I start to inform my body that that's not the truth, that that's not what's happening right now. Okay. So one of the simplest ways is that we can just orient toward the room right now. Like how I had you come back and like, okay, I'm just gonna rub my hands, I'm gonna wiggle my toes, I'm gonna wiggle my fingers. Um, telling our body, or like trying to, well, I'm not in that scenario. Okay, well, I'm not going to go see that person, or that's not happening at work. That isn't that isn't as powerful because we only have 20% of these afferent pathways. So that are moving from the brain to the body, right? But 80% of our pathways are coming up from the body. So if we can start to actually feel, okay, I can feel my desk, I can see 3 different colors around me. I can smell the candle that I have burning, right? Bringing yourself back to this moment and letting your body know, okay, we're not in that stressful environment. We're here right now. Where objectively there's no threat, right? That would just be one of the simple ways I would say, let's go back to the body first.
I love that. So it's like, for me, like I have essential oils on my desk and like other things. So it's almost like breaking that state.
Yes.
To not continue that thread from this feeling, from this emotion. It's like, how can we break it to come back into our body, into this moment? The senses.
Exactly. Exactly. Because that's become such a, and you can speak more to this, but that's become such a well-worn pathway. If we just continue to go into those thoughts of lack or limitation or not feeling free, that if we don't have something to break it, to bring us back to this moment, then we're just going to keep following that path.
Yep. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's funny. Last night in my mastermind, I was talking about chemical cocktails and how our body creates chemical cocktails based off of our thoughts, right? Like we think a thought that could be like, oh, my business is never going to work, like I'm never going to make any money. And then those thoughts create chemicals from your brain that then form receptors in your cells, and your body is like, oh, this is just who I am.
Yes.
Right. And do you feel like your body gets addicted to your default state of lack, scarcity, struggle, not enough, unlovable, nothing ever works out for me, et cetera, et cetera?
Absolutely. I've definitely been stuck there where feeling good didn't feel good. I was like, ew, what is this? Like, especially when I started trauma work, I was like, ew, like something bad has to happen, right? And then that took me right back into it. So it just became so familiar that when I finally did feel good, it was work to actually feel good and to keep feeling good.
Yes. Yeah, I love that you said that, because here's the thing. I want to read this comment then. Here's the thing, like we think, oh, let me just affirm these wealthy woman affirmations for one day and my life is going to magically change. Let me just practice the mental concept of feeling good, which it's mental. Your body isn't feeling the frequency of actually feeling good for one day. And then I decide it's not working. I'm saying this with love because this was me. Right? Like seeing all those things on social media, just change your thoughts, just keep affirming, just journal. But I never really got, this is before I knew anything about the science of the brain. So I didn't understand what was happening on a subconscious level, which I can share then. And I didn't understand that frequency feeling in your body. I didn't know how to feel the feeling of abundance in my body because I didn't know that I was addicted to the feeling of lack and not enough.
Yeah. So true. And I guess this would be a good bridge into you explaining this. How do you start to feel that abundance if you don't really have a template for what that looked like? You know, you didn't see that in your environment. That wasn't something you grew up with. You don't really even know where to begin with. How does this feel? How should it feel?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. Somebody just said they're a freshman psych student. Yay! Yes, perfect. Oh yeah, we weave in psychology too. Science, psychology, all of it. Mind and body. Yay! I'm so happy you're here and listening. Okay, so here's the thing, you know, without going too much into the science now, because we're going to invite you into a deeper training with us, which is going to be amazing. So here's the thing that you get to know. All of us have 3 blocks. I don't like to use that word because blocks sound heavy, hard, and unfixable. So we have 3 main cock blocks, right? That's like keeping us in our comfort zone. Right. And that's either lack / scarcity, not enough, or unlovable.
Mm-hmm.
And so between the ages of 0 to 7, in the womb, past life, or generational, we had an experience where we decided in that moment we were either not enough, not lovable, or like lack, scarcity, struggle was just who we are and how it had to be for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And based off of this root experience, we made that decision. And then those decisions turn into all of these limiting beliefs that are woven into all areas of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's the thing: when we have something that happened 0 to 7 in the womb, past life, generational, when you are affirming, let's just say, I'm a millionaire, what you're doing is you're trying to get your brain on board with this concept in a conscious state. You're consciously affirming, I'm a wealthy woman. Like, you can see me or hear me talking right now. We're in conscious state. We're in beta.
Mm-hmm.
In beta brainwaves, your unconscious mind is not accepting what you are commanding as your truth. And to be honest, if your subconscious mind is programmed to not enough, lack, scarcity, struggle is my middle name, and if you're consciously saying, I'm a millionaire, your unconscious mind is like, okay, like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and literally laughing at you,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is why it's not laughing at you. This is just my lingo. This is why when we're consciously affirming and we're in beta, it's not doing anything. And I'm validating you and those who have been affirming forever and ever and ever, years and years. And it's like, why are my affirmations not working? Why are they working for everyone else? I see others on social media like booming their business, seeing their bank accounts explode, like creating this awesome impact with an income to match. Why is it working for them and not working for me? We get to the unconscious level, get to the root of what's going on, so that we can rewire that, so you can move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get out of the conscious state, because your unconscious mind is what runs the show. And here's just an easy example. If you're like, okay, let this like land with me, because I'm a visual learner. If you have ever driven home from work or wherever, you take that route every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever, wherever you went, parked your car and you're like, I have no idea how I just got here?
Mm-hmm. Oh my
I
God,
swear
yeah.
I was listening to a podcast
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I blacked out. No, you didn't. How do you think you drove home?
Mm-hmm. It was just so habitual. It was just,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're unconscious. So think about, like, you're literally consciously operating a vehicle
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
you don't remember how you parked the car and got home. What drove you there? What got you there? What
Mm-hmm.
did all of the like physical things? Your unconscious mind. So
Mm-hmm.
your unconscious mind runs the effing show. And if we're not consciously aware of the programming in our unconscious mind, how are we going to shift and change and rewire and just add on all these affirmations, add on all these journaling prompts, add on all this fluffy bullshit? No offense. It's not going to do anything, and it's not going to provide like real results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Um, the thing I wanted to add, I was just thinking this while you were saying it. This is so powerful, and I haven't seen anybody talk about this as far as like bridging the trauma world and the manifestation world. But the nervous system plugs right into the subconscious mind.
Right. And
So when we can use both of those, when we can start to master both of our unconscious, subconscious, and our nervous system, now there's no reason for us to stand in our way, to think that our manifestations don't work, to think that it's just us, that we're broken, to not feel good in our bodies. When we have both of those pieces, we get to whole body manifest and create a life that feels fucking good, that feels amazing. Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
it really is whole body. And it's not just like, again, just because, like, I know, Chelsea, you've been there, like I've been there too. It's not just like, let's sit in meditation for 3 hours and let's journal for 5 hours. And then let's do all of these rituals. I did all of those things for like 10 plus years. Yeah. And I was like, I'm doing all of the things. Why is this not working? Because I was hypnotized by my old thought forms that I wasn't consciously aware of what my belief systems were, what my identity was, my habits, my patterns. And so here's something that we can start to do today based off of what you were saying, right? Where you're like, you wake up and I want you to imagine like, oh no, I'm late for work. So this is homework for you guys tomorrow. When you wake up, very first thing, become aware. So awareness is key because awareness brings you back into control. Control of your body, control of your mind. Awareness, like for sure. So I want you to become aware. We get to be aware of ourselves first. Yes. Yes, Lindsay, hi. I want you to become aware of the very first thought that you have when you wake up in the morning. Is it like, oh, I'm like, where's my phone? It's right here. Is it, where's my phone? Is it like this? Is it like, oh my God, who emailed me? How many emails do I have to get back to? Oh, who texted me? Oh, I forgot to do this, right? Like, what is your very first thought when you wake up in the morning? Because the second you have that thought, your brain emits chemicals that your body responds to, and then your body immediately is like stress, anxiety, overwhelm, not enough, right? And so that becomes your default frequency, your chemical cocktail that you've been sipping on for, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And so step number one is to become aware of your thoughts the moment you wake up. And then how your body, right, what you said, is responding to those thoughts. How your body is like, I feel behind, I feel overwhelmed, I feel like my to-do list is forever and I'm never going to get there. So become aware. And then you can do this the next day, or I want you to do this the next day. Start fresh, because right when you wake up, you're in theta, right? What I was saying before, when you're in a conscious state, you're in beta. So if you're in beta state, your unconscious is just not accepting the commands that you're giving it. So this is why I don't teach affirmations right off the bat, because we're not really accepting them in beta conscious state anyways. So right when you wake up, the moment, I'm starting to feel myself wake up, maybe you heard your alarm go off, you're in theta. That's when your subconscious is malleable, right? That's when we can weave in some neuroplasticity, when we can rewire, create new neural pathways. We'll go deeper into the science in our training. Right? I'm keeping it really easeful here. So the moment you wake up, can you, and I'm not saying to you, just change your thoughts. We're not saying that. Can you, the moment you wake up, pull in a belief that feels really true and certain for you, right? Where you're going to become convicted in. And maybe it's as simple as this. The moment you wake up, everything always works out for me. Right? That's it. Just let it be really simple. And I want you to do this every single day, over and over and over again, the moment you wake up. Because by thinking that thought, you're going to start to rewire your brain. It's going to create a new chemical, right? That your body is going to respond to. And that's when we can bring the mind-body connection in. And your manifestations are going to come in much more quickly, because you're creating this space, not only in your mind, but in your body to receive, where we're not repelling and we're not unconsciously rejecting.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was just thinking that I was doing that this morning and didn't even know it. I laid there, and after I woke up, the first thought was, oh my God, I have to do that today. Oh my God, I have to get this done. And then I was like, wait a second. Okay. What do I want to think about my day? And I find that like prompting myself with that question helps. So if anybody wants to use that, I think, what do I want to think for today? How do I want my day to go? And I kind of bring some words in there that have like spoken to me recently, like easy. I want to feel successful. I want it to feel playful. So I think about those. And then like, as I'm making my coffee, I'm like, I'm somebody who make success look easy.
Yes.
I make my coffee and success is easy. Like kind of stacking that with the action is so much more powerful, and was easier for me to carry that thought throughout the day rather than just trying to immediately kind of revise the thought. Rather, like I'm asking a question and then I'm just kind of carrying that with me throughout the day.
Yes, I love that. Yep, start fresh. Someone just said, I wake up and since I'm always late, the first thought for me is to get to class on time. Yeah. And so if that's happening, let's celebrate this because you're aware, right? You could do this forever for the rest of your, schooling. Or you can be like, what if I just set my alarm 5 minutes earlier? That's it. What if I just set my alarm 5 minutes earlier and I allowed myself to hit snooze once? Okay. Or because we're human, we can't be like, no, you're not allowed to hit snooze. You're not allowed to be tired. Like, make room to hit snooze once. And then maybe after you hit snooze, it's like, okay, I know that I have, 6 minutes before my alarm goes off again. So how about in those 6 minutes of snooze while I'm in theta, maybe I can multitask and rest for 6 minutes and also rewire my brain. I make success look easy. Like, can you just think that thought and feel it in your body for those 6 minutes on snooze while you're also resting and laying in bed?
Wow.
I think so, right? And this is where it's like, you don't have to add things to your plate. Like, manifestation isn't a job, right? Does it take some practice? Yeah.
Yes.
But we're not going to call it work, right? Is it inner work? Sure. But if work feels pressury and forceful to you, then let's call it a practice and let's let it be really easeful. I get to practice a new state, a new feeling, a new frequency, a new thought. I can do that. I can practice anything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's exactly right. I was just reading her comment. Love how accepting you are. I'll for sure use this advice. It does. It gets to be easy. I think a lot of times we make it really challenging on ourselves, or we look at this kind of mountain ahead of where we want to go, and we kind of place our goals way up there. And we're like, well, how will I ever get there? I have to start getting up an hour earlier. I have to go to the gym between then, and then I have to do this, and I have to like write a book overnight. And we make it so much more challenging. Like, it's little. Set your alarm 5 minutes earlier, right? Lay there and just think about what you want to experience, right? Move your body in a way that feels good, that feels empowering for you. Notice, be aware of what's coming up, and like, okay, well, I feel a little stiff, a little rigid. What can I do right now that's gonna make me feel a little bit better, a little bit more body?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it. Yes, this feels so good. You're welcome. Thanks for being here and listening. Yeah, so mind body connection is the code to your manifestations. It's not just let's affirm, let's affirm, let's affirm. Let's think these mental thoughts for my body to feel good, but we're not actually feeling it in our body, right? This is where we get to deepen the mind body connection to get your mind and body on board to accept your desires and accept your manifestations.
Yeah, that eliminates all the resistance, right? Because if one piece is pushing forward and the other's resisting, then we're battling ourselves. We're just treading water. We're not able to go toward the thing that we want or take the actions that would align us with where we want to go. Instead, we're fighting ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, you get, I love how you just explained that. Yes, we get to remove that internal battle, rewire, right? Recalibrate your body, your nervous system. And it's like, oh, I'm no longer in this state of resistance, right? Like that technique you did in the beginning. And when I couldn't turn my head, I felt tight, restricted, and like in a state of resistance.
Yeah.
And we don't want to resist our desires or manifestations anymore. We want to receive.
Absolutely. I did have one question that came out of my group program about manifesting. So how does trauma or like residual beliefs that were painful, how do those affect manifestation? And I think maybe we kind of touched on that, but I just wanted to clear that up in case anybody missed that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we definitely touched on that and we definitely answered that.
Yeah.
Which feels really good. And we're going to go deeper into that in our training, which I'm excited to invite everyone to. One thing I will say just quickly around that because I got a question around rewiring yourself, Rich, right? And so here's the thing. It's like, this is what I want you to know, because sometimes when we talk about manifesting, and I know for me specifically, like when I talk science, it can be like, Kelly, this feels a little, right? So I want you to think about it this way. And this is going to be a nice perspective shift that I think that we can get on board with mentally and in our body. It's like, do we want to continue to view life, our business, our relationships as a problem and focus on the problem and focus on what's not working? Or do we want to rewire, reprogram, recalibrate our nervous system to focus on the possibilities, to focus on our potentiality, right? And that right there is such a simple and easeful shift where it's like, oh, have I been focusing on problems, and maybe sometimes problems that don't even exist? I just created a problem in my mind and then in my body. And if so, now that you're aware, how can I shift out of focusing on a problem and focus on the possibility, focus on the potentiality, focus on how supported I am and how truly everything does work out for me?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I love that. That question gets right under that and kind of stops the focus on the wounds and goes, well, is that something I want to continue to look at? Or do I want to look at my life from a place of curiosity and what it could be?
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly it. Ooh, yeah. It's like, get curious. Right what I said, or whenever I said this in the beginning at some point, with awareness, become aware and get curious. Like, you get to view your life as a scientist, as like a curious person who, when you see what's going on, you see that you're at choice. Like, in any given moment of any day, you are always at choice. And you can either choose, like I said, to lean in the direction of problem. It's not working. Let me focus on my past wounds, past experiences that happened. Or I can choose in this moment to lean in a different direction of possibility, of potentiality, of more for myself, knowing that it's safe, right? Does this direction feel uncomfortable? Yeah, because it's unknown, it's unfamiliar, and it's uncertain.
Yes.
Right. And I know, you know, like in your work and with your clients, the uncertainty feels at first unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the body responds to that. And then we approach life from this really rigid, not only mentally rigid, but also like physically rigid place.
Yeah.
And how, like, I used this metaphor on my story yesterday, talking about, what if, like, imagine if you were living life in a full body cast. Just imagine if, like, you broke your arm and you had one arm in a cast. Like, how challenging would that make life? Right? Just for let's say like a week. Just imagine that if you are moving through life in a very rigid way, right? Or if there's rigid beliefs, or if your body is also rigid, which creates health complications and all those things. But, like, if you are moving in that way, how can you possibly go after a life that feels really unlimited, that feels really open, that feels really flexible and fluid, and you get to travel when you want to, you get to make money passively? Like, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen if we keep approaching it from the same beliefs that got us to where we are. We have to realize, I've got to recycle some of these. I've got to let these go. I've got to cut those off and start to move towards something that does feel good, something that would promote a life that I do want to live.
Yes. Ooh, I love that. I love that visual, because that's how our brains help to connect, right? And and even just seeing that, I'm like, yeah, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like when we're consumed with our old thought patterns of lack, scarcity, struggle, not enough. And then that's what it literally feels like in your body, that you're in this full body cast, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that. Recycle them.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing. For those who are watching live, how are we feeling? How are we feeling with the mind body manifestation code now that we answered a few questions and gave a little rundown of what's going on and how you truly need both? It's not just getting your subconscious on mind or your subconscious mind on board, and it's not just getting your body on board.
Amazing.
Both.
Oh, good.
Yay.
I'm loving that. Good. Yeah, we're gonna go a lot deeper on this. We have created something really, really special that, like I was saying earlier, truly, I have not seen anybody bridge these two worlds in a way that feels really good.
Yeah.
In a way that feels really easy. I can apply this right now. It's gonna change my life tomorrow, you know?
Yes.
So we created the mind body manifestation code. So interesting. Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is going to be a live training that both Kelly and I are going to be teaching both pieces so that you're understanding your body, start to get to speak the body's language, and how to repattern that around receiving. What does receiving feel like? How do I start to understand what receiving feels like? And how can I make sure that that doesn't feel like a threat in my body? And then Kelly's also going to walk us through how can I start to rewire my brain to enhance, amplify what my body can already now feel.
Yes.
No way, honestly. Oh my gosh, so excited. So excited. Yeah, so if that's something that you're interested in, we're going to be doing that on December 2nd at 4 p.m. Mountain Time and then 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yes.
So you can send us you can just type in the comments or send us a DM after this that says mind body, and we'll make sure to get you all the information so that you can join. Did I miss anything?
No.
Okay.
No, that's yes, that was beautiful.
Good.
Yes, you guys. So we are bridging both worlds. We are bringing our expertise together, and it's going to be so amazing, so magical. You're gonna leave with tools that you can implement, right? And you're going to see a major difference in your manifestation, in your life, and all of your desires coming more easily because you got your mind and your body on board, which is going to be awesome. So yeah, like you said, December 2nd, 6 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can comment below Mind Body or DM us and we'll send you the link. It's going to be amazing. And there'll also be a replay available too. Yes.
This has been so beautiful.
Yes, this was so fun. Thank you for being here live, everyone. Yeah, this was amazing. Now that you have a little taste of how to get your mind and body on board to manifest and weave in these codes and formulas. Oh my God, you both have so lovely eyeballs. Thank you. Compliment of the day. What a time. Yes. And so we're doing this super special training, which is going to be amazing and life training. So you can DM us or comment below Mind Body and we'll send you the link on December 2nd.
Yes. Wonderful. All right. We look forward to hearing from all you guys. Thank you so much for staying here. A lot of you guys have been here the whole time and I really, really appreciate that.
Yes. Yes. Thanks, everyone. Can't wait to see you in the Mind Body Manifestation Code training. It's going to be
That was so much freaking fun. If you love this episode as much as I did, please take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram at @the_badassbabe so I can share and celebrate you. And I have a special gratitude gift for you. If you're feeling called, please give us a 5-star rating and write your review on Apple Podcasts. Take a screenshot, submit it. Let me know and I'll send you instant access to my Fuck Yes Money hypnosis as a thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.